but the Lord dictates their steps. So and I really feel that's what Colombia has been. Like, I was supposed to be here. I thought it was one reason, and it ended up being for something else. And in my opinion, something much bigger, right? Because it has to do with people and humanity. And I'm someone who hates injustice. And so there's a lot of indignation surrounding what's occurring in Colombia right now. And so my tool is music, and it is hip hop, and it is poetry. And my family in Colombia, my chosen family in Colombia, they're all musicians, and many of them are artists, right? And so, and that's just, I belong here in this moment, so I'm here.
I love it. I love it. Well, Sincerity, welcome to the Healing Room. And thank you so very much for joining us. Today we have rapper from Brooklyn, New York, Sincerity. And we absolutely love her. And you may not love her yet, but you'll find out why. For those of you who are listening who already know of her phenomenal music and her vim, her light, her strength in her music, and how she uses her voice to really get messages out, you already know. And for those of you who are new, you're going to hear a lot about her journey today on the Healing Room podcast and what she has in store. So I want to talk a little bit about how we connected. I heard you in a hip hop clubhouse room, and you shared your testimony about how you were rapping at train stations. How did you become a rapper? First and foremost, how did that come about? And then transition us to how the passion led you to rapping in train stations, like just boldly.
So I'm from Brooklyn, right? Rapping hard body today. But I'm from Brooklyn, and I feel like Brooklyn is hip hop, right? Like, you can't be in Brooklyn and not listen to hip hop, not grow up with hip hop surrounding you. So I always loved to rap. I always believed that I was a good writer. And so, in school, my English class was always my favorite class. And so writing was always my thing. And I had confidence in my writing. I didn't necessarily have confidence as an MC until I met my mentor, Toni Blackman. So Toni Blackman is the first hip hop ambassador for the State Department. She's traveled like more than 40 countries, doing hip hop. Right. And so, so when I came across Toni, I started taking her workshops, and like, she does freestyling workshops. Right. So my initiation as an MC was really freestyling. So you'll see, more than likely, you'll see videos of me in the streets, like in cyphers, more than music out. I have a lot of music that I can't wait to share with the world. But right now, most of the videos that you'll see are usually in the streets, whether it is at the cyphers with the guy. Well, they're not all guys, but it's usually a large amount of men, right? But ironically, I started rapping with Toni in cyphers with women. And so the energy, the femininity of it all was just very beautiful and uplifting. And so when I hit the streets with the guys at first, it was intimidating, but then it was like, with Toni, we performed at the Smithsonian, as I'm part of her collective called Rhyme Like a Girl. We performed at the Smithsonian, at Lincoln Center. I'm like, why am I, intimidated by a group of men at a cypher, like in New York, like I'm from here, So then once that got out the way, I was in there hard body with all the guys and all of that. And yeah, so now more than ever, I believe in myself. I believe in what I'm doing. And rapping on the trains came about from really not wanting to do jobs that was not feeding my creativity, right? And so originally it had to do with money. I was broke. And then I went out to, and at the time, I was in a type of relationship or situationship, whatever. My lover was like, he is a violinist, and he would go out there in the streets. And I remember seeing him count all the money he made, first of all. And second of all, his trajectory and what he had done was a lot bigger than anything I had ever done. So I was like, if he has the audacity to go out there in the streets, like, who am I to not just go and do it. So originally I would go out there with my homegirls, the violinist, shout out to Sarah Cangussu, and we would go out there together, you know, because the nerves and that or whatever. So the first day we really didn't make that much money. We was nervous, whatever. And eventually we really started making money, you know, in 2 hours, but more than we would make at a minimum wage job anywhere. But it wasn't only about that. It was once we started doing it for real with confidence, it was amazing the way that people connected to us. And people would cry. People would say, you brought me so much healing today. People would be like, oh my gosh, like I believe in you, keep going. So I would get all these messages. I still get messages like, I met you at the train station, you know, people. So it was just like, I really gained genuine fans on a one-to-one person basis, right? So it became something so beautiful. And I'm like, this is really why I do this for. So it became something like, okay, at this moment in my life, I'm not being invited to all these stages, but it's all good. Like literally, where I'm the performer, I'm the MC, I'm the master of ceremony. That means that where I go, I create the stage. So I got out of that notion of I need to be invited here, there, and I'm like, y'all not gonna invite me to tour, y'all gonna listen. New York City is gonna listen to me. Now, once I got over like the idea of like, what if somebody sees me? Oh, that's another thing. So there'd be people that would see me, and at first I was scared of that, like what people would say. And it was just amazing to me how it ended up being like, yo, like you're bold or you're dope. So it became something where I thought like, you know, people would look at me like, dang, she in the streets, like she really struggling. And it really became something of people looking up to me, women who are either singers or rappers, like, oh my gosh, how do you do it? Like, aren't you scared? You know,
Yeah,
so then
let's talk about that a little bit, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of artists and creatives are afraid to be judged, you know, by people who they used to know before they were artists or creatives. So what are some tools that you used to overcome that fear?
A lot of affirmations, and really I think when you know your purpose, and when I know my voice is the most powerful thing I have. Like I know this, right? Whether it's in written form or whether it's like if it's oral tradition, I know that that's the most, or one of the most powerful tools that I have that I am conscious of at this point in my life. And once that is, I feel like, ingrained in our minds as creatives, as, you know, human beings that are like, I was born for this, I'm meant for this, then you're like, at the end of the day, people are going to talk regardless, but it becomes something bigger than yourself. And to me, there's something, I don't want to live a life where I don't reach my potential. I don't want to live a life where God gave me gifts and I didn't use them out of fear. You know? And so that's what gives me the courage, ultimately. Like knowing that it's bigger than me. Like, yes, it feeds my spirit, it feeds my soul, it feeds my heart when people clap or when people, you know, affirm my gifts. Of course it does. And I believe that part of the reason why it does that so much to me is because I know that it's what I'm called to do, right? And so that's really what gives me courage, knowing that it's bigger than me.
So moving forward with your projects, I know you're in Colombia, you are on tour. I can't wait to see footage from that. What do you have in store for the future? We only got 6 months left in the year. What can we look forward to?
I just want to clarify, I came here to work, but I'm not necessarily on tour, but I've been invited to perform since I've been here various times. So so that's part of the love that I tell you that I received in Colombia. Also a serious matter, there's much social unrest. This protest has been going on. I'll give you a quick summary. There's been a lot of indignation around the way the government has treated the protesters. Everything from tear gas to killings to kidnappings. To mad injuries, and you see all the isms from classism, racism, everything going on right now at the same time. Last Friday was really harsh. I've been going out to protests myself, and I've performed at a couple protests. So one of the first time that I performed during a protest was a couple weeks ago. And so there's, right now, it's kind of the people are for themselves. There's no police protection. Because the police are actually attacking the people for protesting. So literally we don't, like, you are not going to see police on the street unless they're coming for you at some point. So it's really, there's a lot of tension once we step out in the streets. And at the protest, there's posts where frontliners, they're called frontliners, are basically staying at these posts, and if the police come, they're the first ones taking the shots, the tear gas, all of that. That's why they're called frontliners. And one night, a group of artists decided, you know what, because they stay there night and day, they literally sleep at these posts in the street. And at night, many times we hear the helicopters and we hear the gunshots, and we can't help but like pray for the young people. And we're like, when is this gonna stop? And one night we went to perform, because the artist was like, you know what, let's keep them company, let's bring music to them, to the people, let's lift up people's mood and all of that. I still haven't posted that video, so that I actually received donations through Clubhouse to bring food to these young men and women, and also families in need that aren't able to work right now. So I was able to fundraise and do that. So that night, I literally was asked to perform like 2 hours before. And I was like, okay, I'll do it, right? So I did a written and a little freestyle for a song, for one of the group songs. And an hour after we performed, there was a shootout and one of the frontliners got shot. And it was so tense that the people organizing was like, nobody could go home, because at any moment, because there's been so many kidnappings, at any moment, like, anybody could get snatched up. So literally myself and 3 of my friends, like, we slept at the park, at like this little gazebo thing at the park.
I'm glad you're safe. You are really in the midst of danger, but you're still being a humanitarian. It's really like a part of your calling as an MC, is how I feel. So this is very important for me to share with the audience, because honestly, I didn't know what was going on, and so the audience, I'm sure, is appreciative of you bringing us the news. So, wow. Audience, please continue to stay in touch with Sincerity, because there's something going on in the world with our extended brothers and sisters that we're not getting coverage in America on, really. So this is important for us to see how we can chip in and help. While you're there right now, I know there's so much that you can stem from to create new music. I know you're probably thinking, brainstorming, writing. I mean, don't give us everything, because I know, MCs, rappers, artists, they like to keep, something for themselves until they're ready to bring it out. But what can you share with us that you may have done while you're in Colombia that's coming out that we can look forward to?
So one of the songs that we did, actually, it's not even officially on YouTube. Like, the song isn't even on platforms yet. But there was a group of choreographers that was like, let's do a video. And so a couple of artists came together, musicians and vocalists, and we did the song together. The dancers heard it and they were like, oh my gosh, we have to do a video and we have to do something amazing with it. So they ended up I put it on my profile, the video. And that video, not because of my share, but because of so many other people here in Colombia have shared it. Like, in Colombia, it's going viral, the video that I put on, because everyone kind of just shared it. So, nobody was thinking nothing legal, nothing we should like put it on platforms at this point. So I'm inviting you all to go see it on my page. It's called Conciencia, which means consciousness. And it's a beautiful video. So that's something that we worked in, we got done in 3 days, which is inspiring to me, because it was so many people involved, from the choreographers, the dancers, the musicians, the vocalists, the director for the video. And it just got done so quick to just, inspire the people. So that was something beautiful that I was a part of while I'm here. apart from the presentations, of course. And yeah, and I've been collaborating with other artists. I'm excited. I have a project that's going to be mainly in English because I haven't, y'all see me rap in English mainly in the streets, but I'm like, I need a project for my New York crowd. I need a project for my fans from the train stations. I need a project, for the people that take the time to interview me. I'm like, I need something for the people. So, and this project, I believe it has about 5 songs. It has about 5 songs, and it's really just showing the world who I am and a little bit of my story.
Yes. We appreciate you so much, Sincerity. I'm looking forward to is it going to be a 5-song album or EP?
I don't even know what I want to call it yet. I might do a Jasmine Sullivan thing. She ain't called I don't think she called it an album or EP. No. I might just call it a project.
She just put it out.
I might just call it my first project.
I'm here for it. And I know it's going to be phenomenal. And because of all your experiences, I know you're going to give us raw truth. So we love you. We appreciate you. Where can the people find you? YouTube handles, social media handles?
Okay, so Sincerity Lyrics and Sincerity Garcia. When we talk about YouTube and off platforms, it's Sincerity Garcia. If we talk about Twitter, social media handles, it's all Sincerity Lyrics.
Sincerity Lyrics for the socials, and for YouTube, Sincerity Garcia.
Yeah.
We love you. We thank you. Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn.
New York's finest. Okay. And I know I'll be seeing you on the stage of the Grammys one day. So,
yes, ma'am. We gonna affirm that. I believe it.